Recording in progress.
Hey everybody, MegaRuler31 back here for FSI DFS. Going to be breaking down the truck slate for NASCAR. TK Nation was supposed to join me. Don't know what happened. We have had storms in at least my area, so maybe lost power or something. Hope he's okay. So hopefully we'll connect with the Cup videos. So if you're watching us on YouTube, I just want to let you know that we are doing podcasts now, simulcast. So if you don't have time to sit and watch our video, you can listen to them in the car, while you mow the lawn, while you're out walking, jogging, wherever. Just go to Spotify or Apple, whatever their podcast store is, then search for FSI DFS, and you'll find most of the content that we're posting up there for videos there for your listening pleasure also. So let's get into the slate. So, as I said, storms. I'm probably about 45 minutes away from the track in Tunkhannock, Pennsylvania, um, and the Pocono track is down a little bit south of me here. So today it's beautiful weather this whole week, like hot, hot, hot. But and it could be still pretty hot this weekend. We just had one of the summer pop-up showers at the most inopportune time when they're supposed to have practice and qualifying. So it's kind of like a COVID race, no practice, and everything reverts back to the special NASCAR formula for figuring out. So you've got a lot of people that are going to make very, very good values, like down, lower down, because they didn't have practice and qualifying. So uh, what I did for speed is I looked at a composite of different tracks that were similar over the last couple of years. It's kind of hard because if you'll see if you watch the Xfinity video, like Pocono is like two other tracks, Michigan and Indianapolis, but we haven't been running Indianapolis as a regular track. We've been running more as a road course, and Michigan, of course, was last year. So really, um, not too many tracks. Like Nashville is a decent potential comparison track, and um, like Auto Club is. So I was able to actually just be able to try to put together a little bit of data just to try to give us some. And again, some of them were such small sample size because some of the guys, the yellow guys, are like guys that usually are in ARCA. Um, don't really have a huge sample size. So I did list also on the right hand column where they finished in Pocono 21, just kind of as a point of reference. So let's just get into it. So Zane Smith starts on the pole, and I think he'll definitely probably be pretty chalky and probably is a decent cash play there. Starting on the pole, can he be able to probably get out and lead some laps? My guess is without having practice, you're probably going to see a competition caution. So, I mean, that could kind of shorten the period that he's out there being able to lead the race. Behind him, I think it's just a bunch of GPP plays here. Chandler Smith, he's always so volatile. He's hot or cold. It's like Chandler Smith, Brandon Jones in Xfinity, and Kyle Busch, like to me, are cut out of the same mold where they're boomer busts. They'll like either do really well or they'll finish dead last. There's really like no in between with them. So speed wise, five, so it definitely has that going for him. 25th last year, had a rough run. Then it's a very challenging track with like shifting and the configuration and stuff. So it takes a while to get used to. At least he's got decent equipment for it. Carson Holsevar, like we all want to see him win a race, but it's just like seems like he's pushing too much and pressing too much, and just I think he's going to again, it's just getting him into trouble. He's not letting the race come to him. He's making the wrong decision at the end, brocking too aggressively, and usually ends up wrecking himself and potentially other people too. So I think he's just GPP there. If he won the race, it would not surprise me. If he went out and dominated, led a ton of laps, wouldn't surprise me. But again, I just bad feeling there. Stuart Friesen, he's usually decent this style track, which is a little concerning. Like last year, he finished 33rd, and he wasn't in an accident. I didn't see any notes that anything really happened to him. So, but he's a veteran and he's in a decent truck, so he should be able to know this track and do decently. So, still think he's a GPP here for me. Akis, I believe he, no, he had a couple issues at Pocono, but he's in a better truck this year in the Thor Sport one. So um, 95 again. I see him as GPP. His numbers look decent, so I think he's maybe closest to a cash play among. Maybe I'll put him there. I think he might be like the safest of the rest of them. Majeski, I don't know about him. Finished 14th last year, but if you look at like his stats on tracks like this, not really good. He's down like 31st, so concerning there. Derek Kraus, starting seventh, a little bit high for me here. I think I'll have low ownership. Uh, his speed rating is like 17th, so that's not even finishing in the top 15. So he could potentially fall down 10 places. But last year he finished in the top 10, so I don't know, kind of a wild card there at 8,200. And then Enfinger, he lost an engine last year here, so he finished 36, but it can kind of don't look at that. Overall, he's been decent at this track. Speed 11, starting 8th, should probably finish in the top 10. So I think he's potentially a decent play also. Cascarella, he's starting 9th, so I mean he's doing decent this season. So obviously something's going right with the formulas putting him this high up. But I just see a little regression there, even though 9th for his speed. If he can hold the position, that's fine. But at 76, there's so many other people that you could play that are gonna. It's kind of no man's land, and there's other ones with more place differential. So not interested. And same thing with Kobe Howard. He's been decent this year, but he's starting way too far forward. He's like 29th average running position for races and practices. And I think there's a time to play him, and that was like last week when he was lower on down. But if he, it's just not this race. It's just starting too far forward. Ben Rhodes, he's actually come down in price, and he's struggled a little bit recently since he like won that dirt race on Easter, I think it was, or whenever it was. And I think he's just kind of come back down to earth, had some issues. His speed rating's third, 17th here, so it's a bit concerning, but I think he's decent in cash. I think he'll have high ownership here outside the top 10 with, some place differential upside, could get up there and lead. But I think where everybody's going to probably start their lineups, and I've really debated this one, is John Hunter Nemechek, 11 most expensive driver here, won the race last year, only 13th in composite speed and similar tracks. So, and he's had his struggles this year, so I don't know what to take of him. Really like the place differential. I wish we had practice to see if they got the setup. It seems like they've missed a lot this year on those. So honestly, I built my cash lineup, but it came down to John Hunter Nemechek or Zane Smith as like the last guy in. And my choice was, if I took Nemechek, I liked having the place differential for him. But if I took Zane Smith, then at least if I didn't take Zane Smith, then I wouldn't have anybody. I think John Hunter Nemechek was like my guy that was closest to the beginning. But then again, like I said, if there's a competition caution, and we did see like Barry start in a truck like 33rd or something last year and work his way all the way up the field. So it is possible, if you know what you're doing at this track and have good equipment, to be able to advance. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I might split my cash and play one John Hunter Nemechek line and one Zane Smith line. So then if Zane Smith falls back and Nemechek does rise up and dominate the race, and I'm good there. But if Zane Smith goes out there and leads and Nemechek fails again at the highest priced player, then I think I'm covered there. So not playing both of them in the same lineup. I think it's like either or for me. Crafton, and I think is decent. What veteran, knows the track well, probably have some high ownership. Definitely probably can get up into the top 10, so there's place differential there. Really like Tyler Ankrum. He's just his speed composite was 2. His finished second at Pocono last year, so a lot of upside with him. I like him in cash at 85. I think there's some place differential. There's some track history, even though it's only been a couple of them. I think there's a lot of good things. I think the ownership will be decent on him. Purdy would be a GPP, probably pretty low owned. Probably going to finish around 20th. Di Vendetto, I've had him as a cash play here. He's been in better form recently. Looks like he's slated kind of the finish where he started, but I think he definitely can potentially move up a little bit. So, 83 if he holds the line or advances, I think that's decent. Corey Heim, it's also GPP. Usually I start my lineup Chandler Smith and Corey Heim just because it's the same thing. Like, we've seen him win a couple races this year, and we've seen him finish dead last a couple times. So, and I don't think he even ran the ARCA race tonight, which is kind of surprising. I thought he'd go out there to try to get some more experience. Let's see here. I don't see his name on the list here, so and I don't think anybody on the besides Chris Wright is the only one that ran. He finished ninth. Um, oh, please, please, NASCAR gods, let Zachary Tinkle, who finished 24th in this ARCA race, make it to like the Trucks or Xfinity series. That will be so fun to talk about with TK each week. But back to our show here. So Di Benedetto or Heim, we were on here. I think the price is high. Yes, there's place differential. He's in a really good truck. It might be the first time he's ever raced in Pocono. It might be a little tricky for him there. They do call it the tricky triangle. So he'll be the second guy in my GPP lineup behind Chandler Smith, but I'm not playing him in cash. Tanner Gray is GPP. I think he's starting a little bit far forward. I like him a little bit further on down. To start, but the equipment's definitely decent. Haley Deegan, same thing. She finished 26 here last year, 19th in composite, so she's been up or down, had her struggles this year, so she seems to be in better form recently, and I definitely play her over like Rala or Kobe Howard in this price range, so if you land there, then I'm okay with it, but she's definitely not a priority. Timmy Hill, decent program, decent truck. Don't like him really starting 20th. Wish he was like about 5 more places down, but I think he can definitely like hold the line and pretty much finish pretty much where he started or close by. So I'm okay there. Spencer Boyd, I think he's going backwards. 28th overall, um, composite, 27th last year, so that all makes sense. So I think the lock of the slate here is going to be Ryan Preece here in this David Gillian truck. Finished ninth at Pocono last year. Almost won a race, but he was taken out by, I think he did end up winning a race. I can't remember, but I know he was really close, and that's the one where Hocevar is the lead and took both of them out. So I think he's going to be super chalky, probably one of the highest owned trucks. And I think it's definitely worthwhile here. He's got a good truck, definitely can make his way up there, could potentially lead the race, could win the race. So, and he's 22nd just because of the formula. So definitely somebody, a prime play there. Lyle Sandlin, I think he can play in cash. Finished 20th last year. His stats don't look great on this type of track, but they look better recently than they did earlier on. So I think he's made some progress there. Chris Wright, of in GPP, he did race in the ARCA race here. Didn't really do super well. Finished ninth against like really not great competition. Like Brandon Jones from Xfinity was there. The rest of the guys like are Sammy Smith is in Xfinity, and I think Kruth is in Xfinity race. So you have a couple in there, but there's a couple like people that haven't really seen in like any experience in Cup and Xfinity that finished ahead of him, and I'd like to see him like probably in the top 5 there. So definitely learn the track. So I think you can still look at him as a GPP, but not super interested. Jack Wood, same thing. GPP, he almost finished like dead last, or maybe was last. I think he might have been in an accident last race. So I 30th, so I think he's going backwards a little bit there. Dean Thompson, this probably was going to finish around where he starts, so I think he's okay in the GPP at 5.5. Max Gutierrez, I think he's been away long enough for people to forget what happened at Nashville. This kid jumped in a truck, started in the 30s, and ended up in ninth and won me a lot of money. So he's a very, very good driver. He's in um, decent equipment here. I don't know how well he knows the Pocono track, but I think I'm going to make him a prime play. I think he's got a lot of upside. I don't think that he's going to top 10 again, but even if he moves up into the top 15 at 6,500, there's a lot of potential there. So I'm very high on him. Probably going to be my second player or third player in my lineup there as a prime play. Blaine Perkins, GPP, again, a little bit place differential potentially. Decent truck, a decent driver, regular driver, so okay with him. Uh, Armani Williams, don't know too much about him, but it seems that his numbers look decent. He's the cheapest guy on the slate, so he could only fall back, I think, like what, 7 places. So I think with some of the other questionable drivers that are ahead of him, that he's got potential at being the cheapest one. So I'm okay using him as a cash punt. Josh Ream, I don't know what to do with him either. Finished 28th last year, 33rd average running position. This truck just doesn't really seem to be reliable. It's been better the last couple of races with him in it. So I put him as a GPP, but I think if I'm taking a shot, I'd rather take his other truck there with Armani Williams in it than the guy that owns the truck to begin with. Austin Hill, I think this is going to be another prime play. He finished fifth here last year. Now, this isn't the same truck or the same, but he doesn't come up here just to run inferior equipment. Every time he has won or run a race back down in the truck series, they put a decent truck together for him. So I would think that's the same case here. I just wish he had some practice time so we could have seen how the truck is doing and how the truck responds. The camera's getting all messed up here. Let's fix that. What happened with that? Things just started shaking out of nowhere. So sorry about that. So yeah, Austin Hill, I really like him. So I think I'm gonna start my lineup with Priest, Gutierrez, and Hill. And then, like I said, I'm trying to fit in either John Hunter Nemechek or Zane Smith up top. So I just have to decide: am I okay forfeiting early laps led, or is it just going to be like a jumble thing where we don't really know? Like it could be any of them that get out there out front because they're all pretty evenly matched. So without the clarity, then I think John Hunter Nemechek makes the most sense. But if not, then I think you can go with Zane Smith and just hope he leads long enough until some of these other guys rise up through the field, like Priest and Austin Hill, and catch them and take over the lead. And if there's nobody really in between, then you're all set for the day. Jesse Little, really like him. 18th average composite. I didn't see that he run here last year, but I think he was running in Xfinity, but he's always been decent and always a like top 25 driver. So yeah, definitely like him. Caden Honeycutt, he's another ARCA guy, which I don't know why I didn't run the ARCA race here. GPP, I think he'll be low ownership. Todd Bodine, I think he's going to be super chalky down here also. The truck's okay. I've seen it had some issues this year. I mean, he's an older driver, a veteran driver, and I think people look at his past, like if like Ron Hornaday or somebody like popped in from the past, and he's run a couple cup races too, I believe, for Daytona and stuff. So I mean, this might definitely is a track that suits him. So I think he's still a cash play, but I don't know if he's like a complete lock like some people are looking at starting their lineup. So I think most people are starting probably with like Hill, Priest, and Bodine. But like I said, Max Gutierrez, I'm putting in over Bodine for 200. I know there's more place differential with Bodine, but I just really like what Gutierrez is doing. This is Austin Wayne Self's truck, and we saw him do a lot of good things here. But ever since they switched out and put some other people in it, those people have done well in the equipment also. So Tyler Hill, I mean, you really can't go any place but up here. So really like him in cash also at only 5K, and probably have super high ownership. And I think Tate Fulgerman, a lot of people have high ownership on also, but 7K, like Tate Fulgerman has like lost his ride, and then he lost his ride again. So he's like kind of a nomad here. So it's 2 times in the last year he's lost his ride. And he's in a Rackley War truck, which is decent, but this truck is the same one that I believe William Byron raced last year, and we've seen the second Rackley War truck appear from time to time, but we've seen mechanical difficulties with it too. So Tate Fulgerman is not a really good driver. I know there's a lot of place differential upside here, but at 7K, I'd rather play Tyler Hill. I'd rather play Bodine. Rather definitely play Jesse Little. All three of those guys over Fulgerman. So I GPP, I think definitely, you're really not going to lose much with it. So but other than that, I think that kind of rounds out the field. So just to kind of review again for those of you who are listening, can't really see the chart. I'm starting my lineup with Priest, Max Gutierrez, and Austin Hill. And then I'm trying to decide up top, am I going to take one of these early people that I think are going to lead? It would be Zane Smith if I did. If not, I'd probably just play John Hunter Nemechek at 12th. Ben Rhodes makes another great option there also, and just hope like if there's a competition caution that they can work their way up and eventually take over the lead. GPP guys, like I said, Chandler Smith, Corey Haim, definitely would consider them there. Some guys I'm fading are Kaz Growla, Colby Howard, Spencer Boyd. I just think they're starting too far forward, and pretty much the rest of the field is GPP. But there's a really nice slice of like cash plays from 11th to 16th here with Rhodes, Nemechek, Crafton, Ankrum. I really like. I'll try to work him into a lineup just for looking at how he's done on similar tracks and finishing second here last year. And he's had some decent runs this season too. And then DiBenedetto is just starting to look better and like who we thought he might be. I thought he'd dominate, but he's starting to look like more like a competitive driver in the truck series. And I don't know if it's figuring out the equipment, the setups, or him just adjusting to the truck series from coming down from Cup. But definitely is looking better as of recently. So that's what we got. As always, check back to the video. Lock is I think at 12:10, so around 11 a.m. tomorrow. If there's any major updates or anything, everybody like fall into the back. Anybody that we think is a better play now or a fade, then we'll throw some notes there. Check out the Xfinity video. We have no information on Xfinity, so I went through and I just took like similar track data and all kinds of different historic data from the season and the track, and kind of built a composite model and kind of try to see how that would play out for like qualifying and stuff. So if, like I said in that video, that race starts at 5:10, so check back at 4 o'clock on that video, and we'll give you some updates after we see what the real qualifying and everything is. So thanks for watching. I'm Mega Ruler 31. And if you want more information on FSI DFS, you can go into the description of the video. It's all there on the podcast and on YouTube. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat below. TK and I will get back to you, or you can hit me up at Twitter at MegaLure31. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Good luck in your contests. Have a safe weekend. Stay cool, everybody. And we'll see you for the Cup video tomorrow night.